Never before in recent memory has it ever happened in India that in a particular state, voters on the same day vote for X party for Lok Sabha and Y party for the assembly. This has never happened. There have been instances which have appeared similar, where the trend has been the same, but the numbers may have varied. But what's happening in Odisha, according to the exit polls, is something completely unique. Upar koi aur, niche koi aur. What is really going on? We'll focus on that over the next 20 minutes. Let me show you first what the assembly election projections for Odisha look like. So let's bring that up on our screen right now. The assembly predictions for Odisha. So there are two polls that we are tracking, and I'll show you the assembly predictions for Odisha. This is a poll done by India Today, where we're showing you 89 to 105 seats for the BJD, 29 to 43 for the BJP, 8 to 12 for the Congress, 0 to 3 for others. So that's the India Today Access My India exit poll numbers for Odisha on your screen right now. Let me also show you immediately what the Lok Sabha numbers are like for Odisha. Coming up on your screen next, the Lok Sabha numbers for Odisha. In the Lok Sabha, it's completely different. Remember, in the assembly, they're saying 85 seats at the minimum could go to the BJD. Here, Access My India predicts for India Today that Narendra Modi's BJP could pick up between 15 to 19 out of the 21 seats. In Odisha, the BJD could come down to just between 2 and 6, the Congress between 0 and 1. Pradeep Gupta, explain to our viewers what is going on in Odisha. This split ticket, it happens in the United States and elsewhere on occasions, but what is going on to your mind in Odisha?
Odisha is very strange for me and our team also. In fact, that is the reason why I made a point to visit Odisha myself, and I did 200 interviews myself. Try and understand whether my data is coming right or is there any problem. But even I myself witnessed the same. Is two different verdicts for two different elections, which is Lok Sabha and Assembly election. Reason being, I can see clearly Naveen Babu is like too popular a leader, too popular. I would say it is a case study for me particularly why he is continuously winning the election. And I found particularly women is like Naveen Babu. They cannot think of anybody when it comes to state election. They say as long as Naveen Babu is there, we are not going to change. But when I ask what is happening in Lok Sabha, दिल्ली में क्यों आप ऐसा कर रहे हो, वो बोलते हैं कि देखिए हमको गैस कनेक्शन मिल गया, हमको घर मिल गया, हमको हाउसिंग घर मिल गया, गैस कनेक्शन, शौचालय, particularly in tribal area. Odisha is also with 26% tribal population. There it was very evident. I myself witnessed that शौचालय है, लोगों को घर मिले हैं, तख्तियाँ लगी हुई हैं, आई-सेट्स ये सब मिला है, फिर आप लेकिन स्टेट में तो नवीन बाबू के जैसा कोई नहीं.
Incredible. First and foremost, Sandeep Shastri, has this ever happened in India in this fashion?
Two ways. One, in Karnataka in 2004, you had a simultaneous poll.
What happened at that time?
The BJP got a majority of seats from Karnataka in the Lok Sabha election. But when it came to the assembly poll, no party got a majority and BJP was somewhere 89 out of 224 seats. So it's something similar, though not exact. Now, such a thing has happened in a gap of 2-3 months. In the case of Karnataka, again, 1984 Lok Sabha, 1985 Assembly. This has happened in Delhi.
The Ramakrishna Hegde election.
Ramakrishna Hegde lost the election. I mean, the Congress got a majority of seats in the Lok Sabha election, but in the Assembly election, Ramakrishna Hegde came back to power. This has happened last year in Delhi, where the BJP swept all, 2014 it swept all the seats, and next year Aam Aadmi Party gets 67 out of 70. And finally
there was
this
a
has
gap
happened in Bihar, but there's been a gap. There's been a year's.
So the fact that it's happening on the same day, and this is particularly significant, is because Odisha is generally, Sandeep Shastri, perceived as one of India's more backward states.
That's the problem.
Rahul, I think we must make this distinction between economic backwardness and political awareness.
Sure.
I think this, if this verdict comes out, it is a clear sign of political awareness. And for me, the explanation is very simple. The voters in Odisha are saying when it comes to a national election, Mr. Modi is very popular there and he should be the Prime Minister because Naveen Patnaik is not a candidate for Prime Ministership. When it comes to the state assembly election, they say it is Naveen Babu who is our choice and we are voting for him. So this split ticket, one person for Prime Minister, one person for Chief Minister, which we have seen in other states also happening. Here it seems to be happening simultaneously in two different elections being held.
Here I had another worry, but when it comes particularly with Odisha, Odisha is, as I mentioned, the backward and tribal state. The problem is the education level. But in particularly women, महिलाओं को बताया गया था जो दो different machines in two different direction. Machine 1 for the Lok Sabha machine, which is left side of the room, and right side is the assembly, which is number 2. In spite of that, when we asked the women, they were confused कि 1 में कौन सा बटन दबाया and 2 में कौन सा बटन दबाया. So this is my worry little bit, but men were very clear. Here it's Modi, here it's Naveen Babu.
You're saying there's a possibility they may have got confused when it comes to picking the button.
Yes, that's my worry.
Lord.
That's the only worry.
You don't want to be polling in a state where people are confused about what they've just gone and done. Amit Malviya, would the BJP be happy with this? Okay, we'll deal with the assembly next time round. We're getting 15 to 19 out of 21 seats. That's balle enough. Or is this, in some senses, a bit of a missed opportunity? If you could swing it for the Lok Sabha, why not for the assembly? How do you see it? Amit Malviya, welcome.
You know, Rahul, I think it is not quite unusual for people to vote differently in two different elections. You remember in 2014, in Andhra Pradesh, the divided Andhra Pradesh that is, there were simultaneous elections and the BJP in that election in the assembly had got approximately 1.75% vote share. But in the same election, for Lok Sabha, the vote share jumped to a little over 7%. So the same people voting for the same party in two different elections perhaps voted differently. And this also therefore makes a strong case for simultaneous elections, that people do know what they want to do with their state governments. They do know who they want to elect for Lok Sabha and as their prime ministerial choice. Now coming to Odisha in particular, yes, we will be disappointed if what you're showing happens to be true, where we do well in Lok Sabha but not that well in assembly, because we would ideally hope that our assembly performance would reflect what we've achieved in Lok Sabha. But I think we should wait for the 23rd to see exactly how much of this differential voting has worked, if at all it has worked, and is there a possibility that we could get a much higher share of the assembly seats, which could put us in a comfortable position to be part of the government formation or lead it for that matter. So those are questions that will become very clear on the 23rd. But again, I go back to the native wisdom of the people. They know exactly what they want for their states and what they want for the center.
I think Sandeep Shastri made the most important point on this, that just because you're economically backward doesn't mean you aren't politically aware. The two are completely different. And if this comes out to be true, then the people of Odisha would have shown immense wisdom. I want to compare now the exit polls done for Odisha and how they compare with our polls. So let's take that up on our screen right now and show you what the two assembly exit polls are like. So I'll start with Sambad Kanak News. This is roughly in the same direction as the Access poll, 85 to 95 for the BJD, 25 to 34 for the BJP, 12 to 15 for the Congress. And then you've got the India Today Access poll, which is, so wherever Pradeep Gupta gives numbers, he gives chappad phad ke. 89 to 105, little more than Sambad Kanak, and the BJP also 29 to 43. This is the State Assembly. And now let's look at the Lok Sabha numbers. So this is the State Assembly data for these two polling agencies, where both are suggesting the same. Now what you're seeing are the Lok Sabha numbers. So you've got India Today Access right on top, which I told you, 15 to 16. You've got C voters saying 10 to the BJP, 11 to the BJD. So directionally they're saying BJD will be on top. You've got VMR on your screen saying 12 for BJP, 8 for BJD. So they're also picking the same trend broadly. Apart from this, we've got data for Ipsos. Ipsos says 6 to 8 for BJP, 12 to 14 for the BJD. So theirs is a completely different poll from the one that we've done. Then there's today's Chanakya, which again is in line with what Pradeep has got. And there's Nielsen, which says 12 for the BJD. So basically, Pradeep, either you're a genius and you get this right, or it's a very confused poll in Odisha with other people coming up with very different numbers.
I don't think so. I mean, there are people who is very close to my range also, but we are very confident because we go to not only the Lok Sabha seats, but also we made sure we go to all 147 assembly constituency, and we have done our work.
Okay, he's confident. How do you, it's confusing because if you go in and poll at a time, Sandeep Shastri, when there's a state assembly election and a Lok Sabha assembly election and people are voting differently, you can come back slightly confused. It's possible.
The general impression in India has been that when there is a simultaneous poll for the voter, whichever of the two seems to be more important is the one which decides how the voter is going to vote.
So which would be more important? Which would be more important when you're voting?
More often than not, when it's held simultaneously, unless there is a huge national wave, the state issues seem to dominate in an election. Of course, I'm adding that caveat that if there is a huge national wave, that national wave could trump major state issues also. That's been the trend of the past, and that's what made, to a certain extent, Chandrasekhar Rao prepone the Telangana election and hold it 6 months earlier, because he did not want any national trend to impact on the nature of the verdict.
Sasmit Patra joins us from the BJD. I confirmed no relation with Sambit Patra. This is a completely different party, completely different. Mr. Patra, welcome. Your sense of the split verdict, the fact that Naveen Patnaik still holds the heart and minds of people in Odisha when it came to his state assembly, but Narendra Modi seems to have won their hearts and minds when it came to the Lok Sabha election. Mr. Patra? Give me a moment as I try and fix that. What we can see very clearly from this data is that the BJP's vote share is going up. So Pradeep Gupta, from 2014, the BJP's vote share was only 17%. The Congress was at 25, the BJD was at 43. What we're also seeing is the systematic collapse of the Congress party. The Congress in a state like Odisha, ceding ground, they completely are getting bamboozled by the Bharatiya Janata Party with no idea about what to do.
That's what I'm saying. This traditionally, these tribals and the Dalits of Odisha was the traditionally Congress vote bank for a very long time, but now they have totally lost, Congress has totally lost the scene, and BJP has made serious inroads. In last 4 to 5 years, they are investing heavily in this state, and I would say the result, at least in the exit poll, is evident.
Okay, Amit Malviya, this is another state where the efforts made by the BJP are gaining ground, because remember earlier you had the BJP and the BJD on the one side, the Congress as the stalwart, the dominating party. It started ceding space first to the BJD. You've actually seen the BJP come from behind, overtake the Congress, and could after, and that's something that has to be looked at. Naveen Patnaik is around at this time, his age, he's getting on with the years, and some of his party men are deserting. So does the BJP then see long-term prospects in Odisha even at the state level, Amit Malviya?
Well, certainly, Rahul, we do. And if you recollect that not so long ago, the BJP was part of the government in Odisha along with the BJD. Of course, we parted ways then, and since then the BJP, and particularly in the last 3-4 years, we've been trying to build our base there. I want to also particularly build on one of the points that you made about backwardness and political awareness. You remember in 2017 when the Panchayat elections happened in Odisha, the areas where the BJP registered big gains was the KBK region, the Kalahandi, Koraput, Balangir region, which is supposedly a backward region, tribal region, and out of the 8 districts there, and 4 the BJP actually had a very, very impressive performance. So I think as far as government and governance is concerned, the biggest casualties of poor governance are the poor and the backward, and they are the ones who very initially start signaling a change in political choices that the people in the state are making.
Okay.
And that in some sense is also good news, because that gives you a foundation to grow, and that's exactly what's happening to the BJP, and it's
I want to go
reflecting
across to
in the
Sasmit
numbers.
Patra of the Biju Janata Dal. How is it that you think Naveen Patnaik has lost the hearts and minds of the people when it comes to the Lok Sabha election, but is able to hold on to their attention and their goodwill and love when it comes to the state assembly?
I think the Vidhan Sabha and the Lok Sabha polls will show a common trend, and the trend will be in favor of the Biju Janata Dal. Just to make one point very clear, Biju Janata Dal is fighting for the 5th consecutive term in Odisha. Mind you, it's not the first term or second term or third term. It's the 5th consecutive term. And going by your report, it clearly shows that a 5th consecutive term fighting government is getting a 2/3 majority in the Vidhan Sabha. Now, if you are saying that a 5th consecutive term, having been in power for 19 years, looking set to be in power for 24 years, and it is going to lose Lok Sabha so badly, well, then I can say, Rahul, then we're treading on very light waters. Let me also tell you one thing very clearly, that Odisha, and we talked about, Mr. Shastri was talking about simultaneous elections in Karnataka and how there has been aberrations. I agree, there have been exceptions, but exceptions are not practice. And in Odisha, in this election, you'll see that when the results will come out, just like you have shown a 2/3 majority for the Vidhan Sabha, a 2/3 majority in the Lok Sabha seats will also come in. And we do that with a measure of humility, primarily because we have an on-the-ground study. I completely, I stand with Pradeep Ji when he says that he has met 200 people. But trust me, we have a 1 lakh cadre, which is on the ground at the booth level, across 1 lakh booths, where we have a human infrastructure. And the details that come in is that we've done our homework. I can assure you one thing, that when the results will come out, you will see a proportionate growth in the Lok Sabha numbers, as you have shown so with us.
Here's what I wish to say in conclusion. For Naveen Patnaik to be able to pull off a 5th term in office would be incredible. Given the effort the Bharatiya Janata Party has made, given the fact that the state and the assembly elections happened at the same time, if these exit poll numbers hold and Naveen Babu is able to ride back to power, it would be a superhuman effort. Many party men have left. He's an enigma. The people of Odisha love him. People outside Odisha can't quite figure out what this magic is about, but very clearly he has struck such a deep bond with the people of Odisha that no matter what his critics may say, the voters of Odisha still back him. But remember, there is a new force that's now in this battlefield, and they're coming for Naveen Patnaik. So both of those will play out over the next several months in the battlefield of Kalinga. This is where we wrap up this part of our broadcast.
Thanks for watching the video. For more such news and updates, please like, share and subscribe to India Today. Also check out our other great videos from our channel. We know you will love to.